What is up, my good people? Welcome back to Late Night Magic. Hope everyone's doing great out there. Today we got a Challenger deck. This one's Counter Surge. The other ones in the set, I guess you could say the set. The other Challenger decks you could collect are, they have a Tezzeret one, they have a Second Sun Challenger deck, and the last one is, I believe, Vehicle Rush. So today we're going to look into this Counter Surge one. You could pick these up at your local game store. You could pick them up at Target or Walmart as well. I prefer to, support the local game store. So what you get with these are ready-to-play deck and sideboard. So the contents are 60 card deck, 15 card sideboard, and you also get a spin down life counter. No promos included in here like there are in the pre-release kits, so it's a little upsetting, but it is what it is. Counter Surge. Power up your creatures with bonus +1/+1 counters from Winding Constrictor. Awesome card. There's 4 of those in here. And fill the board with resilient creatures that keep growing larger. Leverage the counters for both utility and raw strength, then crush your opponent with your superior resources. So there's a little preview of some cards that you're going to see in here. This battle ready 60 card deck with a 15 card sideboard is perfect for play at your local game store. And then Friday Night Magic. So I actually did open this and I played it at Friday Night Magic. I had a blast with it. So we're going to do a kind of is it worth it video. I'll show you inside what the contents you get in here are. Like I said, I did open it, so it's all sleeved up. I'll show you the actual deck here, but we'll go through what you get in the box first. So as you can see, you get your spin down life counter with the Magic Origins logo there. So that's nifty. I'll show you the sideboard and contents first, I guess. So I did swap out the lands for full art lands because who doesn't like full art lands, right? So here's your swamp. This is a Swamp Forest dual color deck. So you get a quick reference guide, typical of all Magic products. You get that there for beginners. You get a pamphlet that shows you, tells you a little bit about what a Challenger deck actually is, and then some Magic Wizards little mumbo jumbo there. And here's this sideboard, so I'll go over it. Like I said, I did sleeve it up. You also get a nifty separator for your deck boxes, so that's cool. Alright, so here we go. I'll go over the sideboard. So we have Dispossess. Sorcery. Choose an artifact card name. Search target opponent's graveyard, hand, and library for any number of cards with the chosen name and exile them. Then that player shuffles his or her library. Lifecrafter's Bestiary. At the beginning of your upkeep, scry 1. Whenever you cast a creature spell, you may pay a forest. If you do, draw a card. Die Young. Choose target creature. You get 2 energy counters. Then you may pay any amount of energy counters. The creature gets -1/-1 till end of turn for each counter paid this way. You're gonna have a couple dupes here, as they always do. As you know, you can have up to 4 of the same card in your deck here. Kartouch of Ambition. Enchantment. Enchant creature you control. When Kartouch of Ambition enters the battlefield, you may put a -1/-1 counter on target creature. That enchanted creature gets +1/+1 and has lifelink. Duress. Target opponent reveals his or her hand. You choose a non-creature, non-land card from it. That player discards that card. Got 4 of those in here. Appetite for the Unnatural. Destroy target artifact or enchantment. You gain 2 life. Slice in Twain. Destroy target artifact or enchantment and draw a card. And that's the sideboard there. So, as you can see, not too bad. I'm not sure if you're ever going to want to swap stuff out. I mean, I guess you could, some card touches in there would be nice. The Bestiary. Duress is, I guess it's okay. It only costs 1, so Appetite for Unnatural is pretty decent, and Slice and Twain can be helpful if you're trying to get stuff off the board. So that's what you get in the main box here. So now let's go over the actual deck. So like I said, I did use this. Original 60 cards right out of the box, didn't add anything to this, so I could show you guys exactly what you get in here. Like I said, I did swap the lands for full art, so I'm just going to skip those. You don't need to see those. I'll just show you what comes with this deck box, this Challenger deck. Again, it's called the Counter Surge deck, and it's black and green. Foul Orchard enters the battlefield tap it, add a swamp or forest to your mana pool. I'm going to split this in half here so I can handle it better. Hayshep Oasis, tap it, add colorless to your mana pool, tap, pay 1 life, add forest to your mana pool, pay 3 and tap, sacrifice a desert, target creature gets 3/3 until end of turn. Activate this ability only anytime you could cast a sorcery. Scrap Heap Scrounger, can't block, 1 in a swamp. Exile another creature card from your graveyard. Return Scrap Heap Scrounger from your graveyard to the battlefield. So you can bring him back, which is kind of helpful. There's like 3 or 4 of these guys in here. These guys are pretty beastly. Verdurous Gearhulk has Trample. When Gearhulk enters the battlefield, distribute 4 1/1 counters among any number of creatures you control. So basically this whole deck goes around pumping other creatures up in your deck. You'll see that with the Constrictor. So it can be a deadly combination if you can pick the right, pull the right cards from your deck off the top if you top deck it. Hour of Glory. Exile target creature. If that creature was a god, its controller reveals his or her hand and exiles all cards from it with the same name as that creature. Walk the Plank. Destroy target non-merfolk. Another badass card here. Glint Sleeve Siphoner has Menace. Whenever Glint Sleeve Siphoner enters a battlefield or attacks, you get an energy counter at the beginning of your turn. You may pay 2 energy counters. If you do, draw a card and lose a life. Long Tusk Cub. Whenever Long Tusk Cub deals damage to a player, you get 2 energy counters. Pay 2, put a 1/1 counter on Long Tusk. Rishkar Pima Renegade. When he enters the battlefield, put a 1/1 counter on each of up to 2 target creatures. There's that 1/1 counter buff again. Each creature you control with a counter on it has tap it and add a forest to your mana pool. Walk the Plank. Aether Hub enters the battlefield, you get an energy counter. Tap it and add colorless or desert to your mana pool. Tap it and pay a energy counter. Add 1 mana of any color to your pool. Rishkar. Dream Stealer has Menace. Whenever he deals combat damage to a player, that player discards that many cards. So now we're milling cards here for your opponent. Eternalize for 6. Exile this card from your graveyard. Create a token that's a copy of it, except it's a 4/4 zombie human wizard with no mana cost. Eternalize only as a sorcery. Rishkar, Glint Sleeve, Hour of Glory, Foul Orchard. Alright, we're getting into the repeats here. Blossoming Defense. Target creature you control gets 2/2 and gains hexproof till end of turn. Nifty there. Long Tusk. This guy right here is awesome. Look at that. I just love the way he looks. He's a legendary. I might have to make a commander deck with him one day. He has Death Touch. When Gonti, Lord of Luxury, enters the battlefield, look at the top 4 cards of opponent's library. Exile one of them face down, put the rest on the bottom of that library in a random order. For as long as that card remains exiled, excuse me, you may look at it, cast it, and you may spend mana as though it were mana of any type to cast it. So he's awesome. He's one of my favorites in here, aside from the Constrictors because they're a little OP. Walking Ballista. Enters the battlefield with X 1/1 counters on it. Pay 4. Put a 1/1 counter on Walking Ballista, and then you can remove the 1/1s from him, and he deals 1 damage to target creature or player. So if you build him up with this ability right here, say you have 4 1/1s, you can take all 4 off and deal 4 damage. And then, so there's 2 of these. So he would come in, you'd pay, and he gets those 1/1s on him. So again, filthy card if you're just building and buffing people up. Glint Sleeve, Dream Stealer, Foul Orchard, Blossoming Defense. Here we go. The beauty of this deck, there are 4 of these guys in here. So just think about that. There's 4, and look, it's a 2-drop. So it's a snake creature. Winding Constrictor. If 1 or more counters would be placed on an artifact or creature you control, that many of those counters plus 1 are placed on that permanent instead. If you would get 1 or more counters, you get that many of those counters plus 1 instead. So let me explain that. If you put a plus 1 from another card, it comes in with 2 instead, because it's plus 1 of what you already have. So if you have 4 of these guys, it comes in with 5 +1/+1 counters on it. This card is absolutely just filthy, disgusting. and playing with this card and a bunch of these on the board at once. During Friday Night Magic, I once had all 4 of these guys on the battlefield at once, and my opponent was pretty salty, so great card there. Probably the powerhouse of the deck. Forest, Swamp, Defense, and again, another bomb, Verdurous Gearhulk. Alright, so we're getting to the last of it here. Let's see what else we got. Hashep Oasis, I think we went over that one. Constrictor again. Aether Hub. Constrictor. Aether Hub. Scrap Heap Scrounger. Swamp. Forest. Constrictor. Forest. Cub. Orchard. Aether. Cub. Yeah, I think we might have went through it all here. Gonti again. Love him. Gearhulk. Blossoming. Oh, here we go. Fatal Push. Awesome instant. Only costs 1. Destroy target creature if it has converted mana cost 2 or less. It has Revolt. Destroy that creature if it has converted mana cost 4 or less instead, if a permanent you control left the battlefield this turn. Forest and Dreamstealer, and last but not least, Glint Sleeve again. So that, guys, is the challenger deck named Counter Surge. So I had a lot of fun playing with this at Friday Night Magic. I hope you guys enjoyed this. So I would have to say, is this deck worth it? I would definitely say yes. I had a lot of fun playing with it. It's a really good product if you are lazy like me and you don't feel like building, your 2000th deck. If you've been playing Magic for a long time, I'm sure you're used to deck building and drafting and all that fun stuff. So this is a nice way to just make a purchase at your local game store and just hop right into Magic without having to draft or anything like that. And it packs a pretty good punch. There's a lot of synergy in it. Obviously the creators at Wizards, know what they're doing in naming their cards and having the synergy work together. So as far as the other decks go, the Second Sun, the Tezzeret, and the Vehicle Rush, I'm not too sure how those play out. I haven't had a chance to play those. I do know one person who played the Second Sun deck, and they enjoyed it. I know that the deal with the Second Sun deck is you have to survive so many turns. I believe it's 7. And if you play 2 of the, I forget what they're called, they might be Second Sun actually. If you play 2 of the Second Sun cards, you win the game basically. So that's basically just a survival one. Vehicle Rush is obviously stacking vehicles and just powerhousing your way to victory. And the Tezzeret one, I'm not too sure on. I know she's the Sphinx lady from, what's it called? From Amonkhet. So yeah, I'm not too sure on that. But this one, I would definitely recommend. You can find this probably for, I'm going to give it a little gap here, $30 to $34, I would say. I paid about $32 at my local game store. So is it worth it? Final opinion, I would say yes, especially if you're new to the game and you know how to play, but you're just looking to, you're not too good at building a deck yourself yet, you're not comfortable enough doing it. This is the way to go. Challenger decks are awesome. I had a lot of fun playing with this. So yeah, that's it. Thank you guys so much again for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe to my channel. It'll help me out. You can also let me know down in the comments below which types of videos you'd like to see next. This was a is it worth it to buy video. And as always, thank you, and I'll see you in the next one.